Alright, so we got a moral conundrum here. Apparently, a teacher was fired for saying the word Niger. As you can see, a Las Vegas substitute teacher asked her class why black people can say Niger, but white people are not allowed. I want to know when black people are amongst each other, they call each other Niger. One student walks away holding his hands in the air as other gasped. The teacher replies, exactly. When a white person says it, it's like, oh my god, it's an act of something. What is that? She continued. Shortly afterward, Principal Keith Whipperman sent an email informing parents that justice has been done. El Demonio has been vanquished. Racism has been abolished in that school. Now, it's very simple to explain what's happening here. It's not rocket science. Now, America is the only nation on planet Earth, the only people in human history that have decided to ban a word. This has never happened, like historically speaking, and I do study a lot of people and a lot of cultures. And not only did America decide to do this, it also decided to export this worldwide. Like, it's an international thing. If you're a person in Romania, you also cannot say Niger. There was a football referee which was accused of saying Niger, and he almost lost his job. There are people in Sweden, like people that do not even speak the English language, but even there, the word Niger holds dominion. And so the question is, like, how did it happen? Well, it didn't happen naturally. It happened artificially. It came from the academia. And if it came from the academia, it means that it is useful. Like, someone paid money. Someone paid the university professor to come up with it because it is a useful tool for social engineering. So how does it work? Well, by banning a word regardless of context, regardless of the situation, especially when there is context to say it. Like, for example, I go on my Discord server and I want to dictate to my bot using voice command, the word Niger should be banned from the Discord server. Like, I have to say it, right? Because otherwise, Discord bans my server if people go around and they say Niger. And so, in that situation, like, I am forced to use it, right? Another example. I want to talk about someone like this school teacher, right? Like, this school teacher has been fired for saying the word Niger. I have to say it so people know what I'm talking about. And so the word is so essential that America's created the concept of the N-word, where you get to say Niger without actually saying, and we're pretending we're all school kids here playing children games. Like, I say the word Niger, you know what I mean. In your mind, you don't think of Niger, you think about the actual thing. I say the actual thing, but we're playing this pretend game where we're adults acting like children. And so, circling back to the original question, why do people do this? Well, it's a tool of control. If you allow other people to ban a word, you're basically saying that, yes, it is morally acceptable to ban a word. Then it is morally acceptable to ban a sentence. Then it is morally acceptable to ban an idea. Then it is morally acceptable to allow others to decide what free individuals can and can't say. And so, this is why it's essential. It's the pillar stone. It's like the bedrock of censorship. You cannot basically have a culture that admits censorship without admitting that it is possible to ban a word regardless of context. And this is why it was exported, because other nations, they realized, you know what, that's actually a good point. Yes, like, if we want to censor ideas, if we want to censor opinions, you start by censoring a word. And this is why, like, people that don't even have black individuals in their country as much as they do in America, like, for instance, Sweden, right? There aren't that many black people in Sweden, but they import the tool because it's a useful tool. Now, the other question is, why are black people allowed to say it? Well, let's think about it logically. If no one was allowed to say it, the word would just go away. Like, if no person would say it over the course of like 10 or 20 years, it just goes away. This is how language actually functions. Some words come up, like for instance, the word cringe. Well, like it just came up, I think, around 2010. Like before that, people didn't use that. People used the word gay. They didn't mean homosexual. They used the word gay exactly like cringe. But because people stopped using the word gay, they started using the word cringe. And then cringe became popular, right? But the idea is, just like new words come up, other words just go away. They stop being used. And so if no one was allowed to say Niger, over like 10 or 20 years, the word Niger would just disappear from the English language. And so this is why black people are allowed and encouraged to say it. And they're encouraged to say it with rap lyrics. They're encouraged to say it by not banning them when they say it, right? And of course, you know, like they didn't have like the theological justification that, well, yes, because black people were exploited. It's like, let's be honest. First of all, my ancestors haven't exploited a single black person. My ancestors didn't even speak English. Why can't I say Niger? And I'm not referring like saying it in front of a black person. I'm saying like, why can't I say it right now? Because if I say it right now, it's a TOS violation. The video gets banned. And so you guys can't even hear what I'm trying to say. So I have to use these loopholes in order to actually communicate about an important topic. A person that happens to be a descendant of the Zulus. He's in Africa. He never got abused by the Americans. He was never called Niger. Or a person that grew up in Germany or Japan, right? Like, let's say a black person that moved in with his family in Germany and lived there, never touched American soil, is living in much better conditions than anyone in America, is, you know, living in Germany. Why does he get to say it? Someone that actually owned black slaves. And he is black. Like some of the first slave owners in the United States, many people may not know, they happen to be black. Why? Because it was profitable to have slaves, right? It was like people that had slaves did it for like a moral reasons, like I have slaves. No, it was like a business. Like you have a plantation, right? So like you're making money. And so like some of those people were black. Why is it that their descendants get to say it? Like you see, it doesn't have like moral framework. Like, there's no morality in this. If you're trying to look at it, oh, well, you know, like, this is racism, blah, blah, blah. It can be racism in some cases. In other cases, it can't. Why isn't it just banning the cases when it is racist? Like, for example, you know, saying it in front of a black person and accusing them of being a Niger. Like, in that situation, it would be racist. If you just make a YouTube video discussing around the word Niger, it's not racist. It should be fine. But it's not, right? So, as you can see, if you're looking at it from a perspective of a tool of control and the concept of keeping the word Niger alive, then it makes perfect sense. And the other thing is like, well, what happens if you say it? Well, if you say it, there are consequences, right? Like this teacher got fired. Why did she get fired? To reinforce the idea of control. If this teacher could have said it and she wouldn't have gotten fired, well, the word loses its mystique. It loses its power. If you go online and you say it, your account gets zooked. And so people don't say it. It's not like people are afraid of a word or they're afraid of being called racist. No, they're afraid of losing their social media accounts. They're afraid of losing their jobs. That's why they don't say it. Now, obviously, if everybody would say it, then it would go away, right? But you live in a world where you get to buy commercial music on the radio, you get to hear the rap lyrics, and if you repeat the rap lyrics, you can end up in prison like it happened to some people in the UK. Because it is a tool of control. It exists to show that, yes, there are people that can literally pay university professors to create a system where adults can be censored. Not because of a word, but because of opinions, right? Because that's how it starts. Like, it starts with a word, and if you ban that word, well, what else can we ban? And when people were arguing for free speech during the Jack Dorsey era, this was actually the argument. Oh, you just want free speech so that you can say Niger. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.